Welcome back to the Talent Speaks Coalition podcast. Each month, we sit down with creative freelancers working in the media industry to explore their challenges, the impact they aim to make, and their journey navigating the freelance world. I'm really excited to introduce to you today's guest. Fallon Jethroe is a reality TV producer, veteran. She has worked on shows like Big Brother, America's Next Top Model, and a whole bunch of other shows that she will tell you about later in this conversation. Fallon is just such a great person in the industry to know. She has also been a safe space for me in my journey in navigating the freelance world, and I really am excited for you to meet her. Fallon, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Let me start there to come on and be a guest on Talent Speaks. Honestly, I'm so excited. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming. And just to bring people up to speed, because me and you are locked in.
Yes.
We met spontaneously through Instagram DMs.
Yes.
And we met up for coffee on some networking ish, and boom, we're lit. We lit. We here. We locked in.
Like this. It's kind of crazy. I had to go look back through my Instagram DMs, and I was like, wow, wait, when did I reach out? We connected shortly right after the holidays.
Yeah, I remember.
Took it right off the DMs. And
for real. Hey. And I feel like that's how networking should be. Very simple. Like, you hit me up, I hit you back, and we're like, coffee this month. Let's do it. This time this week? What time this week? And you're like, yeah, that works for me. Cool. Where's a good spot? Boom, we met up. And we probably, from what I remember, we talked for probably 2 hours the first day that we met in real life.
I agree. It was about 2 hours, but it was a great, smooth, easy conversation. Honestly, afterwards, I felt very energized, and I was like, wow, okay, cool. Let me go seize the day and go work on everything that I had mentioned. And so, yeah, the chemistry and the energy has been great ever since.
Yeah, I think as producers, we just get it. Like, networking is already hard enough.
So true.
And I feel like I really enjoyed our first meetup because we didn't even really talk about work, gigs.
Yes.
We talked about it, but the heart of it was talking about everything else going on. Mm-hmm. And I felt like that was really special, and actually probably one of the first times I networked with somebody that I didn't know, and it wasn't so rooted in work. Why do you think networking feels so spooky? Yeah.
Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I think, honestly, most people have a hard time connecting with another person.
Is this remote work messing us up? Got us all socially awkward and stuff?
I think so. I think remote work has it socially awkward. We don't come into the office and, meet people. It was a minute before I even met my coworkers and outside talent after coming back or working even during the pandemic and after the pandemic. I probably went a whole season without even meeting my AP, my associate producer, for those who don't know. Yeah. And I was like, wait, wow, I've never met you. I don't know. I know what you look like versus on the screen, but I had never interacted with you in person.
I think the only thing I was nervous about is what I wore. Oh. I'm just in this space of my adult life where I'm trying to figure out my personal style. And it wasn't the best day that we met up. It wasn't it was sunny.
I think it was raining.
Yeah.
It might have been overcast.
It was a weird day. But y'all, Fallon showed up looking good. She was just looking beautiful. And if you don't know, Fallon is hella tall.
6 feet.
I'm always the tallest person on a production, and I feel like Fallon just made me feel she made me feel small in a good way. That's kind of weird to say, actually. Never mind. So anyway, Fallon, you, like I said, are this in my mind, a reality TV show veteran, but you actually are in real life. You've worked on shows like Big Brother, America's Next Top Model. What are some other shows you worked on?
I've done The Bachelor. I've done Alter Ego. I've done Top Chef. I've feel like I've done it all.
Literally, I feel like I'm still new in building my career in LA, and I feel like you've had this big career for years and years and years. How have you seen the industry shift and change over the years?
Yes. So I would say definitely the industry has shifted versus people thinking like this negative stigmatism on what like reality TV show is. I mean, now people are like, it's unscripted, which I feel like is a more like, I don't know, like elite way to say like reality TV shows. But most people thought it was messy. When I started out, it was hard to go from getting the next job after getting off the first job because people would be like, oh, you don't have any experience. And that's what they used to say to me when I first started. And I started in New York. America's Next Top Model was my first show that I did work on.
Directed by Ken Mock. I met Ken Mock once, literally. I had to throw that in there so people know that I know something.
Yes, directed by Ken Mock, created by Tyra Banks. And so I started there, and now I would say people are like, unscripted, they love it. You know, it's what's honestly, I feel like, fueling the entertainment industry. There's so many jobs out there. It's getting people work. People don't have negative stigmatism around it as much. I just feel like it's created this whole new space in the entertainment industry. So I'm thankful for it because it's what launched my career.
But Fallon, let's keep it all the way real. Because I don't want people watching this to think that they can just come out to Hollywood in LA and they're going to find a gig on one of these big shows and everything's going to be great. Like, my biggest experience has been, oh my God, there are thousands of other people trying to do the same exact thing that I'm trying to do. Sure. I am not special anymore in that way. I'm talented, but to think that I'm just the one to get it is kind of like where sometimes in my career I'm like, dang, I need to humble myself a little bit. What do you feel like is the flip side to being in the industry? Like, how has it changed over the years in that way?
Okay, so to your point with like, okay, the space has widened. And I say the space has changed is because now there are content creators and people out there and TV personalities who basically call themselves producers, who do what we do, you know, and technically, do they do what we do? I don't think so. You know, I think I put in a lot of sweat equity into this business, you know, because I started out as a production assistant. I'm not like by any means saying like you have to start out as a production assistant. You could start out as an AP, but I do think that there is something where you kind of need to like go up the ranks and not just kind of have like the popularity and then just get into it, or the nepotism and then get into it. But I definitely think, yes, this industry has definitely changed. We have definitely created new stars in this business of the people that we like highlight and lift up, for sure.
Yeah, it's giving dog eat dog world out here.
It's giving dog eat dog world. It's giving, you know, people are, they're gatekeeping. If we really want to talk about it,
that part,
people are gatekeeping out here. And you know what? That has never been a part of my like a way on how I do things. If there was a job literally in a department that I didn't want, I would tell somebody. Even if there was a job, we were competing for the same producer position. Okay, cool. I'm happy if you get it too, you know? Like, there is plenty enough to go around. But now people are just like fighting on top of each other.
Oof.
Yeah.
What would you say are the biggest challenges, though, for freelance producers right now? We talked a little bit about just like doing the first step, I think, which is networking and just getting out of your head and just go have that coffee with somebody you don't know, and not maybe necessarily being so like driven by, can this person put me on to my next opportunity? I mean, obviously that is like what we all desire, right. But what are some other things producers can do right now to get their next gig or to kind of just foster being in this career?
Well, I think the next thing that we can do right now is that we have resources at our disposal. We're shooting right now in a podcast studio. You can use your money and just do the thing.
Invest back in yourself.
Exactly. Invest back into yourself. If you say you want to start a podcast, if you say you want to produce a show, well, then produce the show. There's YouTube, there's Patreon. There are systems out here in place already that we don't have to go to the big networks in order to create the thing that we wanted to create. So I say just do it. You know, if you call yourself a producer, then produce some content.
For real. Like, literally, I'm not getting, transparently, I'm not getting tons of production work right now. And so this definitely is an expensive investment that I'm making. However, I still need to be taking time as a producer creating even show ideas. Even if I play around and be like, Keke Palmer gonna be on there, Obama gonna be on there, like whoever I want to be on there can be on there. But I think like just going through just the process of what it takes to produce a show, because I just feel like then when the right opportunity does come, you are prepared to have those conversations and to just quickly come up with ideas because you already kind of mapped them out for yourself.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
I agree. And you're honing those skills. You know, I say that's the best thing is to continue to hone those skills, is because you asked me early on, you know, like what are some things that have like changed in the industry from when I was, you know, starting out to like now. And I say like the biggest things that like have changed is the lack of work that's out here. I used to be out of work as a freelancer, and I probably have gone most of my career, like 20 plus, as a freelancer. I mean, I was on a long running shows, which I would consider like permalance, but I was still a freelancer. And so the lack of shows that are being produced, there's just not a lot out here. And also too, networks are using like the same IP of, you know, creating shows, and therefore it doesn't really leave like much things for creating like new things. And so the same people who are already on those things are just staying on.
And I heard that a lot of production is being taken out of
Oh,
LA
yes.
because it's just cheaper.
Cheaper. Canada, they always go shoot in Canada. I remember I was producing on Step Up, the movie. I was a production coordinator. I did all the prep work here in LA. They shot the whole film in Canada. The rest of
Crazy.
it, they used to rehearse and do everything here in LA, and then they would go to Canada. So yeah, that's happening for sure.
Yeah, I've been here for a few years now, and I'm definitely like, okay, the blinders are off. And I think it is special though when you first come to LA. It's like that first year here is magical, should be magical, hopefully is magical. But then you kind of like realize quickly that it's not what it seems to be.
So my journey to LA, and it's funny because I knew you were gonna probably ask me like, when did I come to LA? And I had to look this up, but
It's been so long.
It's been so long. But May 28th, 2010. That was the first time, but I actually was bi-coastal. I still had my apartment in New York City, and I was coming out to work on America's Next Top Model, but I was staying in Long Beach at my uncle's condo at the time, and he made me a sign. That's how I know the date. He made me a sign, like a welcome sign, and I officially moved out here 2 years later when I got the job as Tyra Banks's associate producer. And so it's been a minute since, you know, like I've lived out here in LA, but I always was like, you know what, my 15 minutes of fame, I'm gonna stretch it to as long as I can, you know, so it's not just 15 minutes and like really grind, because LA was really always the goal of where I wanted to be working and doing my craft as a producer.
I really feel like you came out to LA at a really great time.
I probably did.
Because that resume is fire.
I probably came out at a really good time, but honestly, I think I really had a good network of people. Like, I was an intern at Focus Features, and I really just always used to tell the people that I worked in the PR department, like what I wanted to do. I said, hey, can you help me? I want to be on set. They would help me. I mean, shout out to my mentors, Erica Wren and Nicole and Ajanu, because when I tell you these women put me on, they put me on, and we're still locked in and friends to this day. So like when I get that Emmy, when I get that Oscar, like those are two people I am definitely thanking.
Yeah, once you make a strong industry connection, it kind of lasts forever.
It does.
Yeah.
No, it really does. So I definitely say like it's good to have connections and stick with them, because also too, those are the people that I like want to work with, you know. I full circle moment, when the industry was slow out here, my mentor who put me on America's Next Top Model asked me for a job, and I was able to hire her to come work as a podcast producer, like full circle moment. And I was like, wow, this is like amazing. Like I'm able to repay you back. Like,
that's community.
that's community. Yes, that's community. And so, like, kudos to you for like doing Talent Speaks, because like it is community of what does this.
That was like the perfect segue, because you actually started an online virtual community group called Sunshine Break. Can you tell us a little bit more about that, and why do you think it was a good time to kind of start that community group?
Yes. So Sunshine Break was an idea for a virtual co-working space. I started it with my friend Julio.
Julio.
Yes. Shout out to Julio Saucedo. So him and I are TV producers, and what Sunshine Break is a co-working space where we meet once a month. It's designed to take working alone on an island and creating this like community where we can, one, share ideas, highlight our wins, talk about things that we like need in the group and bring it to the group, and also to share what's currently happening in the industry. So because like you can't do it alone, and also to, I didn't want to work alone in this business, you know? So, and as a producer, you don't work alone, you know, you have a full circle team. And since I'm not currently on set, I said, hey, Julio, like, let's get the people that we know in our community together and like have them come share ideas, and also to come share industry tips, because like the industry is constantly changing. And so Sunshine Break, really, like the name comes from being on set and working 12 to 14 hour days and honestly like needing a sunshine break.
For real, because you guys don't go outside on them sets. Yeah,
we don't go outside, or we're constantly on runs, you know, and so it's like 3 months straight out of the time. And so yes, I say like take a sunshine break, and that's how the name came about.
I've been to Sunshine Break, and I really love coming because not only do you guys like kind of have programming and you kind of go through the topic of that month, but then you actually provide resources. So you guys will follow up and send emails with links to things or events or just other resources. But my favorite part is at the end when we kind of have an open discussion. It's like a safe space to bring anything to the group. And I think when I joined, you know, after we met for coffee and then I came to Sunshine Break, I actually was just kind of feeling down, like about my current situation. Like, oh, like work is not really like fun anymore right now, or I'm not really getting hired to do exciting like shows or projects. And so it was really nice to come to that group and kind of just like air out some frustrations about these clients and this work and my pay and all of those things. How important do you think it is to have like a network of people that you can actually just vent to about stuff?
Honestly, I think it's great. And that was the main thing, even in one of our rules that we have in Sunshine Break, is it's a safe space. Like, I don't have all the answers. Nobody's opinion is like right or wrong. Like, share your thoughts. And so I think it's very important. And it's also too very important too to have community for people who look like us, because, you know, constantly I know that sometimes I am one of a sea of white people on set, or two of a sea of white people on set. And so it is great to like have a peer or person, you know, even if they're not on set with me, to be able to be like, girl, were you experiencing this? You know, to know that I'm not alone. And so also too, I think I created a good time because I get depressed and I get down, but also too, I don't have all the answers. And I think it's good for us to like share what we're making and, you know, like share what's happening, because that's how the networks and like these other industries start to gatekeep, is when we don't talk to each other. And the one biggest lesson that I learned from a producer when I was just the associate producer was, she told me what she made, because she said, hey Fallon, if you get hired like next season as a producer, I want to at least tell you what I made, so you at least get that and not lower than that. And so I think it's very beneficial that like we talk, we share ideas, you know, in this industry, because that's what, you know, these networks and people would love if we don't talk to each other.
Right. And I think like we have a habit of networking up. Issa Rae says it's best, like instead of networking up, just network across. And I think like it's been very beneficial to me and also special that like I have you in my network, right? You're somebody who has like so many X years more experience than me as a producer, and I know I can always turn to you and get that advice. And then there's also some producers at the same level as me in their career that I can turn to and like, find camaraderie in as well. But I
Yes.
think it's dope to like just have a network full of people who have even less experience than
Yes.
you. Cause they be having a little 1, 2 little tricks and hacks, and I be like, dang, you made your prep like that? Can you send
Right.
that to me on a Google Doc? I need to see that more in depth, like that type thing.
Exactly. I mean, I don't count anyone out. I say make friends with everyone on set, down to the accountant, down to the grip, down to the electric, because you just never know. And accountants are first people on the site and on set, and they can help you get the jobs. So, yeah, network across, network to the side, So, yes.
So, Fallon, now you are kind of out of the reality TV world and you are now executive producing in the podcast world. What's that been like? And what actual new skills are you learning? Because I just assume you know everything. Because you've been working in this industry for a good
No,
minute.
I'm learning the podcast space. I did transition out, but heck, at this point in age, I will take a reality job tomorrow and unscripted as a producer. But I use my skills as a producer to transition over to be a podcast executive producer with creating, the scripts and creating the idea or the overall concept of a show. And I enjoy it, but honestly, really, it helped me truly with like, I was so stressed out on set, like the anxiety, the 12-hour days, and just having that like one-on-one with like your producer and your audio engineer, it felt more intimate to me. And I kind of enjoyed that because it was just like, look, it is just 3 people in this room who are going to record this podcast, and it just, I don't know, it felt like I had more control, and that's what I kind of was like looking for as I kind of like transition a little bit out of the reality space. And also too, it was the pandemic and the studios were shut down, so I had to still pay the bills, and podcasting helped me pay the bills, and so that's what I'm kind of like focused on right now.
Yeah, I love that you talk about the intimacy that you experience. Like, I'm originally an audio only producer. So this video podcast stuff is like still very new. But, you kind of work more independently and you're kind of like immersed in that audio when you're like just an audio only producer. But I do like this video producing work because it's like we're making our own show, like our own TV show. And it does give me those on-set vibes and feels while I'm editing becomes intimate for myself again. So I like this audio visual work.
Yeah, yeah, and exactly. And also too, I mean, like a lot of people want it. It's becoming very popular. And so you're right. It just feels like you're creating like something that's like your baby versus like I'm producing a reality show or unscripted show that's someone else's baby that they're just saying like go. But like no, I get to like move the pieces around. I get to make this cut. I get to say, you know what, we should tell this story or we should do this segment.
Cut.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Right. So I like that a lot.
Well, Fallon, thank you for coming on and hanging out with me in the coalition today. Before we go though, I want to know, what are you producing right now? How are you keeping that creative spark of yours going?
Yeah, for sure. So one, thank you again for having me on. Currently right now, as we touched on, I have started this virtual co-working space called Sunshine Break every month. So tap into that. You can find it on my socials at Fallon Jethroe. And so, yeah, I would love it if, we just honestly expand the community and get more
Right?
people in. Yeah. And you can be an entertainment behind the camera, in front of the camera or in marketing. It doesn't matter. That's currently what I'm working on now. And then I have my own podcast production company at Hello Fallon Entertainment, where if you're looking to start a podcast or get some consulting on how to start one, you can check that out at hellofallonentertainment.com.
Period, Fallon.
Yes.
Thank you for coming, Fallon. I really
thank you.
appreciate this, and you really have been one of my new favorite people, like, in my network. You're always so supportive. You always make me laugh. I called you literally last week, and we were on the phone again for 2 hours, and I was like, Fallon, these people won't pay me. Fallon, what's wrong with them? And you're like, Yep. And I really appreciate you validating my experience, and I really, really, really hope that I can do that for you as well.
I appreciate it. Thanks again. We're locked in for life.
Period. Thanks, you guys, for tuning in this week with Fallon. Remember, you can follow the podcast at talentspeaks.pod on Instagram. And if you are in the LA area, make sure you check out talentspeaks.co. We're just a community group, and we have monthly meetups that you can pull up to. And remember to join Sunshine Break. It's a virtual community gathering that Fallon throws. So make sure you follow her on Instagram to find out more about how you can come to one of those. All right, we'll see you next time.